Alright guys, back out to the garage and got plenty of stuff to work on. So, getting ready to get back onto this 75 Suzuki 185. I had to get some parts ordered for it. Got the old 200 over here, gotta get it going again. Been sitting a while. But wanted to start this off by thanking my buddy Paul Bethune in Ontario. Sent me these plates. Really cool, appreciate that, Paul. Definitely going to go up onto the collection, so just wanted to thank him for that. Go ahead and get started on the bike. I had to get a new seal here, which goes on this shaft that engages and disengages the clutch. You see the old one right here, it's all wallered and dry rotted and nasty, so throw that new one in there and be good to go. Seal that off good. Had to get a O-ring for the carburetor here. You saw in my last video they had this flattened one and some RTV in there. You look at the difference in these. You see how much thicker this one is. This one was probably the same size, but since it's sat so long it's flattened out. And this will give me a lot better seal there, so I'll go ahead and get a rag here, clean that little hole out. It's got a little bit of crud in there. Clean that out, put that seal in. I got my oil injection lines down here. I got those disconnected from the top up here. I was going to run new ones, but those can kind of be a bear sometimes, so I think I'll just disconnect both ends, blow some air through it, and make sure the lines aren't clogged, and that should get me by for a while, but I'll keep an eye on them and probably get around to doing those sometime. So guess I'll go ahead and start getting this carburetor thrown on, throw these seals in here, and see what we got going on. Alright, got these oil injection lines pulled. This one you can see I've already wiped down and blown compressed air through it. This one's still kind of funky. You have these bolts on each side. This ain't a regular bolt, it has a hole in it there. They call these a banjo bolt, and they have a little, this is plastic, I've seen them brass as well, but you'll have one of those on each side of the line. I've got one on here already. That goes on. Your other little gasket goes on there, and then that's how you connect it. While I'm in here, I might as well go ahead and pull the oil injection pump and run a new line from the reservoir down to it. It's got a nut right here that I've marked, which comes off your throttle cable. You have a throttle cable, then it splits right here and has another cable that goes down to the oil injection pump. So I got that here. This nut here is how to adjust it to make that line there line up with a little line right in there. There you go, you can kind of see that. I got another video on oil injection. I'll put a link up to that as well if you want to see some more on this. But I'll disconnect those two screws there, disconnect my cable, and I'll go ahead and pull that out and replace the line coming from the reservoir. So guess I'll get that out, blow these lines out, go ahead and show you on this some of the nasty crap that comes out. So here we go. Alright, got my line here, got a bucket to squirt this into. I put the end of the nozzle in one, put my finger over the other side, and let's see what we get out of here. Bunch of nasty old oil. You can see it's cleared it all out of the line. Go ahead and wipe it down good. I didn't see any oil spraying out of anywhere else on here. That don't mean it don't have a crack in it, but I'm going to try to reuse this. And that way now it's nice and clear, so you can keep an eye on your oil and make sure it is injecting properly. So go ahead and throw these back on, pull the pump, and run a new line to the reservoir. Trip over a bucket. I got all this old oil draining out of the injection pump cover. Got the pump out. Now to run my new line, what I'm going to do, instead of trying to connect the line to the pump once it's down inside there, I'm going to get my new line, feed it down through this top hole, and give myself plenty of extra. Loop it down through here, connect the line onto there, put the bolts in onto the pump, and then I'll come up here and I'll connect it to the reservoir. That'll be make it a lot easier than bolting this in there and then trying to get that line on there afterwards. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my line ran, get those other ones thrown back on, and see what we get. Alright, got my pump, my lines and everything back on. As you can see, these lines, they kind of got a unique little bend to them. So that's why I wanted to reuse them, because I got to tuck back through here. That way your chain don't cut the lines. So got them in there. I got the reservoir drained, filled it up with oil. And what I'm going to do to get the air out of the lines, you look on the bottom of the injection pump, it's got a little screw down here that'll drain. So I got an air bubble in there. I'll turn it, crack this open a little bit. And there you can see, I'm starting to kind of bleed the system. That way I don't have a air bubble in there and I can get solid supply of oil in there. So I'll let that bleed off. Got my carburetor thrown on there with the new O-ring, put new fuel line and a fuel filter. New line on the pump. Now when you're doing that, the line and everything, you want to make sure you don't have any humps where it's going up or anything, because it's gravity fed. You don't want the fuel or oil trying to fight gravity to get into the system. So let this drain off. Go ahead and get the exhaust back on here. I got new gaskets and everything for this, so throw them on and getting pretty close to trying to fire her up. You also want to make sure that your cable here on your injection pump isn't going to interfere with your lines over here. So you'll want to cycle it a couple times. Make sure your lines aren't going to be hit. And make sure your line over here, adjust your screw up top to adjust the lean or rich for the oil mixture. So get that messed with, just threw the exhaust on with those new seals, put some oil in it, threw my plug in it. Throw this side cover on here real quick. I'll probably add just a little bit of two-cycle mix until the oil injection can pick up and start mixing it for me, but that way it's not running too lean. And throw this on and see if we can get her going. Alright, got my side cover on, connected my clutch cable. Now to adjust your clutch, loosen up your little lock nut here, get a screwdriver, back that little screw out, and start tightening it in. And then once you feel a little bit of resistance, back it off like 1/8 to 1/4 of a turn, and then lock your nut down. And after you do that, you adjust your cable up here. You'll feel your lever, and you want to have a little bit of a gap in there before you feel it engage. So I got a little gap there, and then I can pull it and I feel the resistance and I feel it disengaging. So that'll get you by to get you started on adjusting the clutch until you get it running. Now another big thing is to check and make sure you got oil in it. Now when I pull this plug here, it doesn't have a dipstick. A lot of bikes are like that. They'll have an oil level bolt, and I could tell the difference. The rest of these, just regular round Phillips head. This is a little 10mm square one, looks a little bit different. So I pulled that bolt out. See, you got a hole here. Fill up your oil until the oil starts running out of this hole, and that's when you know you're at the correct level. So I'll let that drain off just a little bit more. Got the exhaust on. You got little springs here. Some bikes will have these. I've had this tool for a long time, and I never knew what it was. Well, I'm pretty sure this is what it's for. You can grab a hold of the spring and pull it to hook it on there instead of using like needle nose and about losing some fingers trying to do it. So that works real good. Hook it on there, pull the spring, and then you can hook it onto the little latch. So just put some fuel in it. I'll put my screw in here when the engine oil's topped off good. Go ahead and leave this cover off for now because I'll need to adjust the clutch. So let's go ahead and see if we can get her to fire up. Well, I'm not going to tell you it started up first kick because it didn't, but I did get it running, and did find something a little unique. While I had it running, the kill switch didn't work. So I was thinking, maybe this. So I tried grounding that out and wouldn't stop. I pulled the spark plug boot off to get it to stop. It came down here and it's still running, and I noticed a crack down along the boot where you could see it sparking like crazy, and shocked the crap out of myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it up. Got me a glove and some pliers this time, and show you that. And that's something to look for too if you're having somewhat of an issue. Sometimes the boot can be cracked and it'll be arcing through the plastic there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start her up, and then show you a little bit of that, and then I'll try to get her to stop. Man, I'm telling you, she's a runner. She don't want to stop. So I'll show you some of that too. So here we go. She's a runner. Sounds great. Got choke on, fuel's on. Turn the choke off. Chugging right along. I did get a new tack cable, so the tachometer actually is working. Pretty cool. I didn't even adjust the idle on the carb or anything, just put it right back the way it was when I tore it apart. Chugging right along. Sounds good. Now I'll go ahead and show you this. Don't turn off. Not shutting off. My glove on. I tried to keep it running, but I don't know if you can see that or not, but it was sparking right through there. See if I can get it to do it again. Oh yeah, starting it with the hand. That still got me through the glove. So now I know I need to get at least another boot. Hopefully I can get that without replacing the whole coil. And there you have it. She's a runner. So it's pretty nasty out there and early in the morning right now, so I'm not going to go out ripping around on it right now. But I'll get some videos of getting it up and running and make sure I got my clutch adjusted properly. And there you go. Another runner. Thanks for watching, guys.